same energy. Work on being better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water spring. You know I drip different, just the 7 seas.
Good morning, my beautiful babies. Good morning. It is your absent spiritual TT this morning. Ain't I been absent? Boy, I've been bad. But listen, guys, please bear with me. This week and the next week, I am relocating. So it is a lot going on in my life right now. I'm moving. Just got a lot going on. So please bear with me for the next 2 weeks. I'm excited. Moving into my new place. That gives me more room, more a bathtub. Oh my God, I've been missing out on taking my spiritual baths. I love taking my spiritual baths, putting my Epsom salts and my roses and bath bombs and all the special oils in my tub. I love that. And I haven't been able to do that in 3 years that I've been in this apartment that I've totally outgrown. And I'm so excited about moving forth and moving out of here. So please bear with me. Like I said, this week and next week, I'm going to be a little off track because I have an awful lot going on trying to get everything finalized. And, this is a major move for me. So I'm going to be busy. So just please bear with me. Please don't leave me. Please don't leave me, baby. All right, guys. Again, I want to apologize for not bringing you your morning messages. I know how we all be getting up in the morning like, what's the message today, Lord? What is Spirit telling us we need to do today? So today, what is today? Is it Thursday? I believe today is Thursday. Yes, it is. So today, on Thursday morning, we are going to start going live too, guys. I promise. Again, once I get moved in and get settled in, get my new office all set up, everything all set up, then I will be ready to get you guys started on back to going live. So please bear with me, please, please, please. But anyway, this morning I wanted to talk to us about keeping the faith. Okay, about keeping the faith. I know that a lot of you have been following me and watching my readings for a while, and you may hear me repeat stories, or you may hear certain scenarios over and over again. But they are done because they are some compelling examples of the stories that I'm trying to depict. And I always feel like when we can relate is when we really can soak in the knowledge that we need. When we feel like we can identify ourselves in the stories that we hear, then we can somehow soak up that knowledge a little bit more. So I wanted to talk to you guys this morning about faith. And I know that faith is, we always hear say, oh, don't give up, don't lose trust, keep the faith. Those things you hear all the time, especially when you're going through, a tower moment in our lives where things are disrupted and shook up. We always hear people trying to encourage us with those same things about, don't give up, keep the faith, blah, blah, blah. And, all it sounds good until it's time to actually orchestrate those things. And then they become a little bit more difficult, much easier said than done. Because it's hard for you to look at me and say, oh, keep the faith, everything's going to be okay, when really you're looking at what we think is reality, and it looks as though it appears, because what fear is: false evidence appearing real, okay? False evidence appearing real. So when we look into our circumstances and we see this false evidence that appears very real to us, we have a tendency to soak ourselves into the negative outcomes of these situations. So what I'm saying is that having faith is believing that there's an opportunity, believing that there's a step, believing that there's going to be a platform for you to step up to, believing that you won't fall. And that's what having faith is all about. And we oftentimes say it, but we don't put it to work. We don't actually put faith to work. Because when things look really scary, we panic. We go into fight or flight mode. That's what we do as human beings. We either finna stand and try to fight our way out of this problem, or we're going to try to run and get as far away from this problem as possible. Neither one of those solutions are healthy. Neither one of those solutions are healthy. We have to stick and stay, and figure out the most amicable way, again, for everybody involved for this situation to be resolved. Running never solves anything. It's almost like it aggravates the situation rather than helping it. So, when I wanted to, look, I just got off track, all the way off track, just that quick. So, talking about back to faith. Okay, so when we have faith, it is again believing in things that aren't really, there's no evidence that these things are there. We're just supposed to believe in the impossible, believe in a miracle. And that's what faith is all about. And I just wanted to give you guys this example. I've told this story many, many times, but it has just come up again in my very own life. And I tell this to my, babies all the time, doing coaching sessions, readings, what have you, to keep never, ever, ever start thinking that God has forgotten, that he's turned his back, because he never will come when we're expecting it. It always comes when we least expect it, and it never comes in the package that you expect it to come in. It never does. So whatever you're thinking, just know that that won't be happening. It'll be something just the total opposite of that, because we can sit and ponder and think and meditate all day, and we'll never be able to jump ahead of God. We will never be able to jump ahead of God and know God's every move. They're not for us to know, and we just simply will not have or be privy to that type of knowledge at all times. Okay, so the story I wanted to tell you guys this morning is a story about a friend of mine who owned like a boarding home. She didn't really own this house; she was renting it. She lived in it. It was her personal home that she shared with her own children, as well as anyone that she met on the street that was homeless. Whether you just gotten out of jail, whether you were a single mother that, was pregnant and got kicked out of the house, or if you were just a juvie just getting out and your parents was giving up on you, she didn't. She didn't give up on you. She brought you into the comfort of her home and provided you with a roof over your head to help you get the proper time you needed to get back on your feet. Now, as a result, because most of the people in this home were unemployed, they oftentimes ended up on the eviction list. This particular month, they didn't just get on the list, they made it all the way to court and actually got a judgment against them. Now, everyone in the home began to go back to the house after the judgment was announced. Everyone in the home started renting U-Hauls, calling up friends, doing whatever they had to do to get out of this house. Miss D, who was sitting there, who was the lady who was the caretaker of this home, she did not budge. She did not pack one bag. Her closet remained stacked. Her bed remained made. Her clothes never came out of the dresser drawers. She did not move. She did not pack not one bag. She sat on the porch drinking iced tea as everyone else frantically ran out of this house. Now, everybody else is telling her, please get your stuff, get out of here. Don't wait for the sheriffs to come and put you out. Don't wait. And she never, ever, ever budged. She looked us dead straight in our eye with faith. Okay, this is where faith comes in. So listen to this, because this is hard to do. Now remember, the sheriffs are on their way. The judgment has been made. The eviction has been ordered. Okay, all we're waiting for at this point is for the sheriffs to show up and put the stuff out on the curb. That is the only last step needed for this eviction. Miss D sat on the porch. I can see her just as vivid as it was yesterday, with her glass of tea, and she looked us straight in our eye and told us that God was not taking her home from her, and she was not budging. I, and as well as her children, began to beg her to leave the home. She would not. We all left, just to get a phone call a few hours later to tell us that her faith had indeed created a miracle. At this point, there had been a person that she had prayed for a week before, who, whatever she prayed for this lady, this woman received, and as a gift to her, she gifted her $10,000 and a brand new car. So that $10,000 paid the back rent and a few months' rent in advance. She was not only back in business, but the back rent had been paid, future rents had been paid, and a brand new car obtained. Now that's what faith looks like. That's a miracle in the making. That is a miracle in the making. And not one time did she waver. Not one time did she go against God. Even when the order was made, even when the judgment was made and she was told that she had 48 hours to leave these premises, she never gave up on God. She continued to believe that God would pull her through. She continued to believe that God would somehow save her house, and he did. And he did. So this is that time in our life, guys, where we have to have that type of faith. There's a lot of energy going on around the world right now that can keep us stressed out, keep us anxious, keep us, just in a state of anxiety. But what I'm saying to you today is operate in that type of faith, that unwavering faith where you refuse to be moved like a mountain planted by the sea. You refuse to be moved. This is the story that I wanted to share with you guys this morning because I know how difficult it can become in our lives, especially for us achievers, for people who are trying to achieve things. I seriously just had a situation very, very similar to happen in my life, and I am one that will always understand and march with faith and know that God got me every single time. I may get a little scared here and there, and that's a human being. We do that. But I never forget who I am and whose I am. And that is what carries me through the storm every single time. You got to know God. You got to know what his promises are, and you have to stand on them. You have to remind him of his promises. And as you're doing that, you're also reminding yourself that he is a way maker, that he is a miracle worker. He is a miracle worker. You have to learn to believe in the impossible, to expect miracles. You have to be in that spirit at all times. No matter the storms that you're going through, you have to be able to still stand on that unwavering faith and be that mountain that cannot be moved. Know like you know that God is coming through just for you to bring you that miracle at the midnight hour. He may not be there when you want him, but he is always right on time. Listen, guys, I promise you, I've had to use that type of faith in my life over and over and over again. There's so many people who come at me and they have so many things to say about how do you do this and how do you get this much done, and she must be practicing black magic and she must be doing this and she must be doing that. I practice faith. I practice perseverance. I practice self-love. I practice believing in myself. I practice believing in miracles, expecting the impossible to happen, and every single time it happens. Because I am a mountain that cannot and will not be moved. So I just want to say to you this morning, are you bending with every storm that comes, or are you standing tall and refuse to fall? Who are you this morning? Remember who God is. Remind yourself of his word. Remind yourself of his promises so that you can stand tall on them and never waver from the faith of knowing that he has you, knowing that he has your back every single time. Y'all, ain't nothing like this type of faith. This is the faith that can move a mountain. This is the faith that can part a Red Sea. This is the faith that can take one fish and a loaf of bread and feed 100 people with it. This is that type of faith. And it works. This isn't made up stories. I'm telling you, every single time that I have operated in this type of faith, I have been victorious in the endeavors in my life. The storms that were meant to take me down, the storms that was meant to blow me away, I stood tall and I withstood these storms because my faith never wavered. Yes, I've had my dark moments. Yes, I may have my momentary pity parties. Yes, I may feel sorry for myself momentarily. but I never stick in that energy and allow that energy to overtake me where it becomes my energy, it becomes my attitude, it becomes my mood. No, because that's when it becomes detrimental to us. When we allow those feelings to stick and stay, they then have power over us. Feel the feelings, let it in, feel it, and then push it away. And understand that it is human of you to feel defeated sometimes. It's human of you to feel depressed, to feel lost, to feel like giving up. It's human. Feel that feeling for just a few seconds and then breathe in, breathe out, and let it go. This is what we have to learn to do. So y'all know I'm your tease coach. And I like to come in here Monday through Friday. Sometimes, like, right? It's like, yeah, sure, Monday through Friday. You ain't been showing up lately. I know. I'm saying again to y'all, please forgive me. Please forgive me. We're going to, as soon as I get moved in and settled in, I am going to start setting up a live schedule. So you guys know when I'll be going live. I'm going to put that on the community board so you'll know what days and what times I'll be going live. I'm going to do a poll, find out what you guys are missing, what you want to see more of, all that stuff. But anyway, until next time, guys, please don't forget, have that faith that moves mountains. Have that faith that doesn't waver no matter how bad the storm. Now, I love y'all, and y'all know it ain't a damn thing y'all can do about it. So until tomorrow, please be safe out there in those streets. And please remember who you are and whose you are.